Michigan's short track racing authority is Horsepower Happenings.
Charlie Bauer, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Scotty Thiel, welcome to Horsepower Happenings.
John Beach, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Adam Terry, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Paul Pelletier.
Corbin Hazlett, Riley Knoll.
Matt Cup, Dylan Stovall, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
From pavement to dirt, modifieds to sprint cars, hear from drivers, promoters, track owners, and many other industry leaders.
We worked on that car for 12 days straight, and when I got to the speedway Saturday, I was out of gas. I had to take a nap.
You're out there and you know that groove, if you're outside of it, you could be a couple tenths off or even half a second off.
It is not the shock that you've won all these races. You know what I mean? There's so many pieces to the puzzle to make these cars go fast.
I don't care what he says. I saw a thing on Facebook on somebody's post that's now been deleted that one of his crew guys said that the spotter told him car low and I wrecked him.
With over 50 years of experience from racing to management, here are Zach Heiser and Rich
Good
France.
evening, race fans, and welcome into Horsepower Happenings. A great show lined up for you tonight. MadMax Moment night, so we'll talk driver on driver coming up. But first, here's some things that are happening in a Mark News Minute. In the world of NASCAR, in the Cup Series, Ty Gibbs gets his first career Cup Series win, and man, Noah Longyear, our producer, called it. I heard him talking about it over the weekend at I-75. He told everybody in the trailer Ty Gibbs is going to win this weekend, and he called it. So we're going to have to deal with that for a while, but that's fine. Good job. Way to go, Noah. In the Xfinity Series, Connor Zilic gets the win. Truck Series, Christopher Bell with a spot start goes to victory lane. USAC National Sprint Cars were in action over the weekend. They had stops at Lawrenceburg and Terre Haute. It was Briggs Danner who went to victory lane on Saturday night, and then on Sunday, how about Kyle Cummins going to victory lane to take home the victory at Terre Haute. Buddy Kofoid survived a wild weekend at I-55 Raceway with the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, and Bobby Pierce picked up the win in the Illini 100 with the World of Outlaws late models. Those things and so much more happening tonight on Horsepower Happenings. Good evening. Welcome in. I'm Zach Heiser. Rich France joins me from across the way. What's going on, sir?
It was nice being at a racetrack this weekend. Let's go back to the Motor City Minute for just a minute.
Yes.
So I don't know if you remember back in 2021 or 2022, I was down at Toledo Speedway, got an interview in victory lane with Ty Gibbs when he won the ARCA Menard Series race at Toledo. We played that on the program, so a little bit ironic. And I don't want to get our producer Noah all excited, but after golf yesterday, I went up to my favorite establishment to watch the Masters.
Oh.
Well, one of my friends came in with a box in his hand, knowing that I love racing. And his company has an 8-race deal with Ty Gibbs, Saya Trucking. He brought me a 54 Saya Trucking die cast.
Cool.
And gave it to me. So I'm going to have to see if our producer Noah.
And you don't have it on display in the office today for the show?
No, they said it's worth more in the box. Plus, I don't have to look at it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you need the money. All right, very good. Cool. That I love that. A lot of racing this weekend, Rich. And I say a lot of racing because we went from 0 to 100 in our region in a hurry. And quite frankly, last week during the upcoming calendar, we missed a couple that were coming up in our region. So we got to cover those. Not quite the who won this week list, Rich, but kind of. We've got 4 different tracks to talk about with winners that we're all very familiar with.
Hey, I think it's a big deal that we got race car drivers on our list and we're announcing winners from a weekend.
That's right.
I think that's pretty cool. Let's start out with the guys that finally got a darn race in. They had to wait till Saturday.
Not without cancellation, though. They still lost Friday.
Yep. So the late models lost their night. They weren't rescheduled for Saturday at Attica. But I don't know if it's a big surprise, but Cap Henry picking up the win in the All-Star Circuit of Champions at Attica Raceway Park on Saturday. In the 305 sprints, it was Brendan Torek.
Yep, and interesting racetrack, tough racetrack to get a hold of on Saturday, but nonetheless, they got it in. So glad for the guys up at Attica Raceway Park. Crystal Motor Speedway got their season underway on Saturday, Rich, and this was another one that you wondered, oh, man, are they going to be able to get it in? There was rain in the forecast throughout the week. Then that got better, and then all of a sudden a pop-up shower kind of scared some people off, but great show, and we're going to talk to one of those winners coming up. But how about our buddy Brandon Thurlby, friend of the program, 100 career dirt late model wins after Saturday night at Crystal Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Brandon.
Yeah, and he's not that old. That just tells you how good he's been over the years. But that was so cool. Didn't even have the family there with him, from what I
I
understand.
saw that.
You know that, and
Yeah.
so they didn't even get to enjoy his 100th win. But
yeah, Leah posted
congratulations
on
to Brandon.
Facebook that they're not missing another race ever. And I got to tell you, race car drivers are a little superstitious. They might not be invited back. He won without him. She might have to stay home from now on.
Yeah, well, that may be.
We'll
We had four other divisions though, Zach, in action at Crystal Motor Speedway. In the IMCA mods, Don Proctor Jr. picked up a win. Some tough competition in that division. That's a big win for him.
And that's a popular win too. The fans loved that one.
That's awesome. Pro Stocks, Curtis Rice picked up the win. As you said, we're going to talk to this gentleman shortly. In the IMCA Stock Car division, Michael Lynn. And then the Bombers, Bill Wilkins picked up the win.
Yeah, in that division too. I talked to Brian LeBaron a little bit earlier today, and he assures me don't get too discouraged by what you see out of the Bomber division right now. There's plenty of them being built. And I told him, I said, I think that your season opener, just like everybody else, snuck up on us. I mean, technically, yes, it's the second week of April, and that's when you've tried to open the last few years, but April 11th feels a lot earlier than April 15th. I know it's only 4 days, but man, it snuck up on us this year. So I believe him. I think more cars are going to be built.
It did, and it was only warm a couple days. It's not been racing weather by any means. It's been cool and damp and rainy for the last, almost every weekend, because Attica, it took them a month to get a race in.
Right.
So, but no, good for them. I'm glad Crystal was able to get rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I do believe that there's going to be even more cars as the season unfolds, and we're not the only ones who it was snuck up on. Noah and I were talking on the phone today, and it was like, we're in it. We just raced, and now it's go time. Like, there is no break after this. So it's here. M40 Speedway raced on Saturday, Rich. They got their season unofficially kicked off. They'll have a week hiatus before they get back to work. This was a Great Lakes Racing Promotions production, and the Ohio Wheelman Super Stocks were a part of the show. And Tyler Hufford, the driver from right here in Michigan, made sure that none of that money went down to nasty old Ohio. Good job, Tyler, for keeping it local here at M40 Speedway. And then this was something cool that they did, kind of a challenge, Rich, between all of the area racetracks that run the Crown Vics, Factory Ford, Super Troopers, Crown Vics, whatever you call them. They were all invited. Big field. Michael Sullins gets the win there. And then the Midwest Dirt Compact Touring Series started their season with a visit to a non-dirt track, which is fine. You can do what you want. James Summerick's gets the win there on Saturday at M40.
Montpelier, boy, some noise coming out of that, huh?
But man.
If Rusty Schlenk is going to win a race, you better not get near the car until
he's climbing out, and then maybe even give it 15 seconds, okay?
Yeah. So Rusty Schlenk picked up the win. What a race. Do you see that coming back over Jameson? That I thought Jameson had that thing wrapped up, but there was the white flag had to come out, and Rusty still had a little bit more left. Great run by him to pick that win up. And then UMP Mods, Derek Losh picked up the win. Super Stocks, Randy Petro picked the win up at Montpelier.
Some feelings were hurt today by the article posted on marknews.org, so I want to make sure that we shout out that Chad Finley, that would be Chad Finley, son of Michigan Motorsports Hall of Famer Jeff Finley, finished third. Did you catch that? Make sure that we all heard that. Okay, Chad Finley.
Who was that? Who was that?
Was Chad Finley, P3. Okay. Good podium run there.
Son of who? Son of who?
That'd be Jeff Finley. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I got it now. I think so. Yeah.
Devin Shields from Ohio finishes in the 4th spot. Donamar Coulier, good run for the driver out of Northern Michigan, finishes in 5th. Riley Knowles 6th. And Colin Shipley in 8th. Other drivers from our area did go down. Not a good night for Eric Spengler or Bill Bray, who were down there in attendance as well. So tough night for them. All right, I-75 Raceway. You want to know anything about that race?
I want to know a lot about it because I watched it, but I'd rather hear it from you again.
I tell you what, it was a fun weekend, and you get a chance to go down there and see the USCS guys take on the Great Lakes Super Sprints guys. Our guys felt like they were kind of at a disadvantage because it wasn't their format. The USCS guys, by the end of the weekend, felt like they were at a disadvantage because they were not able to run the exact same tire that some of our guys had the option to run. And it's kind of like when you're doing business, when everybody feels like they screwed the other guy, then it must have been a fair weekend. So if our guys didn't get to run their format, USCS guys didn't get to run their tire. I don't know. Is everybody whatever? Friday night, Dale Howard got the win in convincing fashion. And how about Kelsey Ivey? Career best finish. Finished second in that race with a chance to win. Dale dropped a right rear off the back straightaway with less than 5 laps to go on a final restart. And if he doesn't pull that thing back on, Kelsey Ivey wins that race, Rich. Was she up
on the wheel or what, man?
I tell you. And again, no hot laps in a format that does not have qualifying. So she went out there for her hot lap session, pulled right to the infield with an issue. And the next time she was on the track, it was for a heat race. And she did well enough in the heat race, earned enough passing points to be in the dash, and started up front and stayed up front. That was impressive.
So we had her on the show last month.
Yep.
She's hanging up the steering wheel and the helmet for a while.
Yep.
Does this change her mind at all?
Well, she told us through the tears that this was already a tough enough decision.
And then she runs like that.
But I think what it does do is confirm what I said, and that is that Kelsey Ivey goes to victory lane this year.
Man, if she runs like that in Michigan, I have no doubt. No doubt.
I think the only thing, I think she might have been able to catch Dale Howard at the end, but she couldn't keep it on the bottom. And I don't know if that was a setup thing or if she was getting excited in the car and was overdriving it a little bit. But if she could have wrapped those tractor tires on the bottom of the racetrack, I think she has a real shot to try to run him down, but it's hard to tell.
I was going to ask you, watching it both nights, that track never did seem to rubber up enough to make a lane fast, did it?
No, I talked to the drivers after Saturday night's show, and they said maybe a little bit of rubber was being put down exiting turn 2, but for the most part, you really had to diamond the turns and get the runs developed or stay right around the bottom. And that's what happened on Saturday night, right? Devon Dobie leads the field to green, has the race lead, gets passed on a restart where, again, with 360 sprint cars, you can do a lot of different things on a restart, and Dale Howard took advantage of that. Got around him on the outside on a restart. And then, Rich, you mentioned it before we went on the show. Devon gets in lap traffic. And what do we know about sprint car racing in today's world? When that leader gets in lap traffic, he is a sitting duck for second place. And Devon Dobie did everything right, man. Caught him in traffic and got to his inside and got around him. It was a whale of a show from my perspective.
And it was ironic to me watching. I mean, there were a lot of cars getting good runs off of turn 2. Like you said, there might have been a little rubber down there to get some grip. But that was also the same area where the mistakes were happening, getting off of turn 2 and getting too high and kind of getting too full of yourself coming off of 2, right? And having it drift up. And you usually don't see that. You see it one or the other. You usually don't see it going both ways. And Devon did a great job.
I'll tell you this. Devon Dobie and Chase Dunham finished 1-2 from Ohio on American Racer rear tires. Dale Howard hangs on for third on the Hoosiers. And again, this is part of the Hoosier burn-off period, so Great Lakes guys could have run either. And Jack Nichols, with a great performance, finishes inside the top 5 on the American Racer tires as well. Why do I bring that up, Rich? Because we have 3 more weeks of the burn-off period. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we have 3 more weeks of the burn-off period on these Hoosier racing tires. If you're a guy who was planning on running the Hoosier tires for the rest of this burn-off period, you're questioning a lot of things right now as we get ready to come back home, don't you think? We're gonna ask Max about this coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to try it, right? You can't just assume when they come back home that everything's going to be like I-75 Raceway. You know that it's going to have the same grip, right? We have different dirt up here, sand, and it may make a difference or not. Yeah. They're going to have to figure it out. But for at least this weekend, maybe the ARs were the way to go.
Yep. Yeah, but and now we're awarding points, right? So you go to Montpelier on Saturday. What do you do? Now it's game time. These are real decisions now toward championships. So
well, I think what were the late models running Hoosiers down there? I believe this weekend.
I think they had 2. So they had 2 different divisions. I think one was on a Hoosier, one was on an American Racer.
Rusty looked pretty good on Hoosiers down there, didn't he?
Down at Montpelier, you're saying? Yeah, those were Hoosiers. Yeah. Those were Hoosiers. So
yeah, I'd probably have to go with Hoosiers down there.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's hard to say.
We just love talking tires on this show, don't we?
I know. And I told somebody today, I said, thank God now it's not just dirt late models that we got to talk tires about. There's another division stirring the pot. So great weekend at I-75. Congratulations to Devon Dobie. We'll talk to him coming up in just a moment. Rich, one last storyline item I wanted to talk on today on the show is a story that we posted on Mark News prior to the weekend, and that is going back to our interview a couple of weeks ago with Tierra Hubbard and Tom Deary about the bills for rights to race across the country, and a couple of them were on governors' desks. Well, news that we were not hoping to hear, that bill was vetoed in Wisconsin, Rich. Got all the way to the governor's desk and was vetoed, and so we got back a hold of Tierra, and she released a statement on behalf of SEMA and PRI. That's on marknews.org. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, Rich. That's government, I guess.
Yeah, you're not going to win them all, but it seems like for everything that we've heard, a lot of support in the state of Michigan. So we're just going to have to wait. I guess that means that make sure if you make sure you get a hold of your congressman or your state representative and just let them know that they have to vote on this still, and we'll have to see. It just shows that it's not a sure thing.
That's right.
Just because it got through the House.
That's right. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we chat with the first driver in the state of Michigan in 2026 to go to victory lane in a division called the IMCA Stock Cars. But was it that simple? We'll find out. Michael Lynn is coming up. You're listening to the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at MarkNews.org. MarkNews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
The 4th Annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th Annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th Annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast, and it is our pleasure now to welcome in our first guest of the evening. This interview is brought to you by Independence Heating and Cooling here in Southern Michigan, Southern Michigan's Bryant dealer. He picked up the feature win Saturday during the season opener at Crystal Motor Speedway. Mike Lynn, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good. Glad to have you here. And, I thought about this after I saw that you won, and I thought, you know what, we're going to talk about this new division that's coming around Michigan. And then it stirred up even more today when we posted your promo and somebody said, that doesn't look like an IMCA stock car. And so it opens up the door to talk about a lot of great things tonight. But first and foremost, congratulations on the win on Saturday. And we talk about this on the show all the time. So great to start the season with a W in the column, isn't it?
It felt great. That's a good way to start the year.
What does that do for you now through the rest of the season, knowing what that car's got, specifically at Crystal, but then against these other cars that you're probably going to see around the state?
I'm excited to travel the state. I plan on hitting 5 or 6 tracks and seeing what it can do. I'm pretty excited for this year.
Tell me how your race went on Saturday. Kind of walk me through your day, right? I mean, it's chilly. There's a lot of moisture in the ground, right? We're kind of wondering how things are going to go. Walk me through your season opener Saturday at Crystal.
Well, I originally was not going to race. I was watching the weather, and I had a new car. Kind of wanted to get some test sessions before we even brought it to the racetrack, and then talked to my buddy Mike Vandermark. He pretty much told me to stop crying and get it out there. So I ended up bringing it out there. Then I told him, I'm going to start in the back. I'm going to choose to start in the back. And then he said, if you do that, you might as well load it. So once again, I kind of went a different route, and just kind of I figured I'd just shake it out, but it felt pretty good and everything worked good, so I gave it all. it was a good night.
And we're hearing in the comments here that it wasn't a walk in the park either. You had a good show going there. A couple of comments already coming in that you and Gary put on an absolute show. And I assume that is that Gary Vandermark?
Gary Vandermark, he's a tough competition. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's one of the cleaner drivers I've raced with. So when I get next to him, I'm not too worried about side-by-side racing.
What was it like for you? I remember Zach and I were talking about it when Crystal decided they were going to go with IMCA Stock Cars. How did you feel when you first heard that announcement? And as soon as you heard that, were you like, well, I got a car for that?
Well, I mean, I had this car built last year before that was even announced. So this is, I mean, as people know, this ain't a true IMCA car, as you've probably heard and seen. But I'm excited. I would love to see a sanction come into Michigan. We have 5 to 8 tracks, and everybody's on different set of rules. So seeing a sanction happen, I'm excited for Crystal and Mount Pleasant. I hope it moves forward, and what IMCA and these tracks are doing with this transition period is awesome. It gives a chance that people can still race and not just scrap their cars, because this is a new IMCA Stock Cars is new to Michigan.
And it really makes sense because over the last couple of seasons, we've seen IMCA just grow leaps and bounds with the modifieds, right? And this just seems like it's a natural fit for you guys.
It is. I'm excited. I think a sanction is awesome for the state of Michigan. We've kind of been like on a peninsula, something like that. Our rules are always not here, not there. We're always just different rules. And seeing these tracks come together, I hope it takes off. It does. In a couple of years, when this transition period is done, I'll get rid of my car and I'll go straight IMCA and travel.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you is how you're going to handle this, because with that transition, IMCA nice enough to, work with Crystal and Mount Pleasant and the state and say, okay, we know there's cars that are close, but they don't quite meet the provisions. How important was that to you to be able to keep running?
It's huge. I want to race everywhere. Crystal's, I just started racing her a few years ago. I met the owners. The owners have been awesome to me there. The fans are great there. The behind the scenes workers are great. I'm starting to like Crystal a lot. I'm excited I can still race there. And I went to Mount Pleasant last year for the first time and ended up liking that track a lot. So I'm excited I can still go to these tracks.
So is this car, because you said you just bought it last year, how close is this car, or will you have to start over after this grace period?
It's a bullet chassis. It's probably leans more towards UMP, but it's not a UMP street stock. It's not IMCA. I will have to, once this transition period's up in a few years, I will get rid of it. It would not work for IMCA legal completely.
Yeah, you have to completely start over. Can't even chop, cut, rebuild, right?
No, the motor set back. I mean, a lot of it's close, but the motor set back and the way they build their cage, the frames, the cage on the frames a little bit different. So I'd get rid of it. I'd probably travel IMCA, go out to Boone, maybe hit the Florida with my buddy Mike Vandermark and a few people, and just enjoy IMCA racing. I think it's good for the state.
But now I'm gonna stick up for you here for a second. Anybody who says, well, it's not a true IMCA stock car, right? Well, you're racing against everybody else who has the same advantages you do. And so it's not like you got something nobody else has.
Oh, that's 100% correct. And to be honest, for that race, I threw on one of the requirements was a 350 carburetor, a lot smaller carburetor I have to run. So, I mean, I think it's a late level playing field, but I've been doing this since 1998. I've been around stock cars a while. So eventually you're going to figure it out after a few years. It don't matter what car it is.
First time I remember seeing your name or announcing your name was back when I was working at I-96 Speedway, and you were fast there, and you've been fast every time I've seen your car, and you just said stock car racing since 1998. What is it about these full-bodied, full-framed, boats that we get to put small tires on and big horsepower and throw around these racetracks, man? What is it about those cars that you're so good with?
I think when you get them close, there's not a tons of adjustments like late models and modifieds. I tried modifieds for about 2 months and I sold it. I hated all the adjustments. Street stocks or stock cars, whatever you want to call them, you get them close and it's minor adjustments. These cars, I mean, they're you can run them for a lot of years. I used to run Londo chassis, and them cars been around for 40 years, the same cars, and you can bend them, straighten them back out, and race again.
Sometimes even faster when they were bent, right?
That happens. That does happen.
Want to say real quick, I want to say thank you to our sponsor for this interview. That's, of course, our friends over at Independence Heating and Cooling, IHC Pros, are launching a new comfort plan program. It's supposed to launch today, according to Tom. And for less than $13 a month, the IHC Pros will come and make sure that your HVAC system is running smoothly. Racers know that races are won in the shop during the week, and the same rules apply to home ownership. Feel better about your home's functionality with an Independence Comfort Plan starting for just $12.99 a month. With savings on emergency and scheduled services, visit IHCPros.com or call 517-425-0224. Independence Heating and Cooling, Southern Michigan's Bryant dealer. Bryant, whatever it takes. Rich?
Yeah, so I'm reading the chat. Everybody's saying what a battle like between you and Gary, right? And that kind of gives you some props, because wherever Mike and Gary go, we've seen them win a lot of races, right, over the years, and even in a street stock. How good did that make you feel, and knowing that you were battling Gary? How much harder did you drive that car?
That's a tough battle. That guy is hard to beat. He's a clean driver, and he's been doing this forever. Crystal has a good group of people between Gary Vandermark, the Buzzkirks, Cone, Brillhart, Ashley Scott. There's a tough field of stock cars there. If you can win there, I feel that's pretty good. Mike Vandermark's actually a good buddy of mine over the last few years, and he actually helped me on this car, setting this car up. So it kind of feels good. I beat his family with his setup, so that's nice.
And it seems to me like Mark is not spearheading this, but right, obviously he's the one that's been going down to Florida, and he has that IMCA access to that IMCA car. I'm sorry, not Mark. Mike Vandermark has access to this car and is going down there and running it in Florida. And you see that as a competitor, but also you've got that friendship involved. Like, internally, as a race car driver, how long have you guys been talking about as race car drivers that something like this needs to happen with IMCA sanctioning at Crystal and Mount Pleasant?
I mean, I've said over the years. I mean, I've talked a lot of people. I think sanctions good. And I went and watched Mike at Boone. I haven't been to Florida yet, but I think it's going to be awesome to get a stock car. I can go to so many different states and so many different tracks, and the rules are the same. Mm-hmm. I raced UMP stock cars back in 2010 in Michigan. There was a couple of tracks that did it.
Yeah,
I think sanction is good. It is, we need to get everybody on board, kind of get the whole state on board, and not have 12 different rule packages.
Do you think that getting a second track on board with Crystal was, is that what's going to make it work?
I think if it takes off at Crystal and Mount Pleasant, I can see the other tracks follow suit. I think it would be wise. I think all the tracks can thrive. I mean, I don't want to see no track struggle. I don't want to see nobody shut down, but we need to get the rules all together so I ain't got to change my car 12 different times at different tracks.
Yeah.
And do you think maybe they're waiting, if any tracks are considering it, waiting to see how this class grows before they want to tap in and put their name on it?
I think so, because it's a big change. IMCA Michigan's like I said, we're an island. Our rules are completely different than UMP and IMCA. We're kind of got our own set of rules, and I think some tracks are kind of hesitant about trying it out, but I think it'd be good in the long run. I mean, it's cool. IMCA and these tracks are giving us a transition period. We have 2 to 3 years. By 2 to 3 years is plenty of time to decide if it's a good idea and build a different car.
Is that going to be sustainable? I mean, and this is what we talk about all the time, is when you bring in these new rules packages, is it sustainable to build this car and to keep it going? Racing's expensive, so you're never going to find a cheap way to do it. But what we had around here, like you're saying, with all these different rules packages, you kind of had to have parts enough to build 3 different cars if you wanted to go to other places. So how tough is it going to be? You're going to buy a new car, but for maybe the other competitors around here that have some choices to make, I mean, how tough is it going to be to get into IMCA stock cars?
I mean, it is expensive. It's an expensive transition. I foresee some people struggling maybe, but unfortunately, from when I started in the 90s and not when you buy a car for $3,000 and kick your windows out and race, it's just racing's expensive. If you want to be fast in a hobby, you're going to spend money. It don't matter what hobby you do. If you want to be fast and good, you're going to spend money.
And I don't really object to the grace period, right? I mean, but what I do think is you're not going to see these cars being built and filtered in a large scale, because why would you do that if you can still run another car? You're going to run this car as long as you can,
You're
And
saying you
then
don't
you're
want to
gonna-
overcommit until you know if it's going to go.
Right.
That's exactly. I was on board. I was kind of leaning towards IMCA car originally to travel other places, but I want to see what happens. I mean, I got this car now. I'm going to run it for a few years.
Yeah.
If it takes off, I have no problem swapping over. I will swap over and go IMCA completely.
Tell me about some of these people that you're racing with. You mentioned them a little bit earlier. So you go from 9th to win and get around the two guys or the two drivers rather that started on the front row. You mentioned Ashley Scott and Gary Vandermark. Blake Goki kind of follows you through the field. So does Jeff, who we've seen race down in Florida and things of that nature. And Miles Spencer from 12 to 7. This seems like one of those divisions that you shake the bag up and you don't know who's going to come out in victory lane.
It's 100%. I agree. It's a lot of it's luck. I got tangled up in a wreck early in that feature, and I could have easily had a tire go flat or break something. I don't care how good you are, how great your car racing is. There's a lot of luck involved in racing.
Is there any separation in this field? Because I do see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DNFs in this feature, and I understand that some of that was from just one accident because everybody was on top of each other. There was nowhere to go.
That's correct. That's what I think of the IMCA. I go watch when I went into Boone and a few places. You have 20 fast cars in a big group. I think that's what's cool about IMCA. You don't have 3 cars lapping everybody. It's a big group and everybody's together, and that makes it. I think that's fun for the fans. Nobody wants to see follow the leader and just one car 12 laps ahead of somebody.
And Mike, Zach and I talk to guys all the time. Beginning of the year, it's kind of a touch and go thing because nobody knows. Winter is not that far old, right? I mean, it was just last
snow
month
on the ground last week
when we had snow on the ground. You don't know what kind of dirt you're going to get. You don't know what kind of track you're going to get until there's got to be still some frost somewhere down in that ground, but still up in mid Michigan and northern Michigan. You expect that track to change much over the next month or two?
I do. I think because they had a couple potholes, but that's normal. It's early in the year. I'm not one to complain about track conditions because we're all raced on the same thing, but it's going to change weather. I mean, that's what's the fun about dirt. We don't know. Every week's different. It might be muddy. It might be dusty. Who knows? That's what excites me about dirt racing. Every week's different.
Our one of our Mark News representatives, Mike Powell, was there, and he's got some great photos that he's posting on Mike Powell Biography Photography. Got a picture of you in Victory Lane, and he said as well that it was just a great race and a lot of fun to watch. So that just continues to hold up. Now, I understand you've got this win out of the way in April, another big win that you've already secured. Now you just gotta lock it up. You gotta walk down the aisle and lock it up. You got something big coming up this year, don't you?
If you're speaking of the wedding in October, that's a huge one for me.
Tell me about that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, me and Tony, my fiance Tony Epplett, we met. I've known her probably for 7-8 years, but we've been dating for almost 3 now. But yeah, we're getting married. I mean, getting married in October. I'm almost 49. I ain't got much more life left in me, so I figured why not get married again? And
Good
but
for you.
She's been great. Without Tony, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Now I recognize her last name. She's from a racing family, is she not?
Her cousin Mike Epplett races.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, he runs.
And now I get it. What was funny today, because every once in a while I go on our Horsepower Happenings Messenger and try to return some messages because people ask us questions throughout the week. And she asked me, where can I find this? Where, because I want to watch it tonight. She seems so excited. Now I get it. Right now I get it.
She's a huge supporter. I would not be here without her.
Tell me a little bit about you. Speaking of supporters, tell me a little bit about your background, Mike. So since '98, and you mentioned the modified was a 2-month stint, but what else have you done around here? What else have you raced? Has it only been, has it strictly been stock cars or what else?
Started off in amateurs, the full cars, went to bombers, went to street stocks, sportsman. Pretty much they had a different name, but all the same car, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, a lot of people talk about progressing, but not saying you haven't, because that class has changed so much, right? I think the car you started in 1998 probably isn't competitive with anything anymore, I would imagine.
No. That's that was the back in the day, kick the windows out kind of thing, put a seat in there and race, but it's come a long ways.
What is one of your biggest, what is one of your most memorable moments? This is usually what comes in from the comment section, so I'm beating somebody to the punch. In these, my goodness, you're nearing in on 30 years of racing. What is one of the moments that really sticks out for you?
When I ran for points 2010, I tried. I won 2 track championships. That was kind of huge for me. About the last time I ever tried to run for points. And then last year I went to my first wood tick. We won the wood tick. That was exciting. I've won quite a bit of shows over the years, but I just
where were your championships real quick?
I won at Winston and Thunderbird.
Oh, cool. All right. So is there some excitement about Winston opening back up for you then, or has that ship sailed for you and you're ready to race other places?
I'm excited. That's where I started my racing, was Winston in 1998 with the amateurs. I'm excited for that track. I live between Winston and Thunderbird, so I'm definitely excited to be close to a track.
Yeah.
So you pick up the win, man. I got to tee it up for you. You pick up the win right out of the gate. You're going to run for a championship. What are you going to do this year?
Me and Tony are going to travel. I'm going to hit Merritt, Mount Pleasant, Crystal, Winston. We're going to hit I-96. Well, not Thunderbird now, of course, but we're just going to travel, have fun.
Go hunting for trophies all summer, huh?
I'm there to win now. I don't show up to turn laps anymore. I show up to win.
I love it.
Now, do you get up into the Thumb region? Do you get over to Owendale at all? Can you race over there?
I'm not sure. I thought about hitting Tri-City this year. I thought about make my way that way, but I've never really been over there much.
Okay. There's a connect the dots here. Matt Duggan is in the comment section, and I don't know if he's giving you a hard time or what. So I'm going to let you just go find that comment and answer it yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
But the group of guys and gals that you race against, I think there's something to be said when you're racing against other people who have to work 40, 50 hours a week to make some money and then put that same amount of time back into their race car. We talk about grassroots racing on this program all the time, but you guys are really living that down, in this dirt racing stock car land where you guys really have to grind for everything that you've got.
Oh, for sure. I get up every day and go to work. I get the pain. I'm a little bit fortunate. I mean, I've put my years in. I'm doing a little better now, so I can buy nicer parts. But I've been there. I've not paid my gas bill, so I can go racing one weekend. I know how that goes.
That a boy. I mean, I remember Dad told me when we were racing, hey, if you want those fudge round snacks this week, you better end up in victory lane. Yep. I said, okay, we'll make it happen. So, Mike, I want to take a second here. Obviously, you mentioned your fiance, but who makes it possible for you to do this, and who gets you up and down the road?
My fiance, Tony, of course, and then I got my pit, Jordan, Denny, Ashley, Natasha, Danny, Bailey, Caitlin, and Nick, and then a real good buddy of mine, Mike Vandermark, and he's been great for helping me on setups. My buddy DJ with Integra Shocks, they sponsor me my shocks. Paul and Kelly Tembrink with Double Deuce Graphics are the one who wrapped it and is not quite as pretty as it used to be after week one. But I mean, I couldn't do it without everybody. All my sponsors, I got tons of sponsors. I don't know if I meant to list a few of them or not, but
listen, we know on this program that we don't have a program if we don't have race car drivers, and race car drivers don't get to race if they don't have sponsors. So please take time to talk about them.
I appreciate it. Without these sponsors, I wouldn't be doing it. I got Great Lakes Nutrition, Real Estate Nate, Port City Cars, Joe's Electric, Hamburger Mikey's, Hops Inspection, Wilkinson's Insurance, Secondhand Smoke, Chad's Auto Service, Andy's Plumbing, Reclaims Customs, the Woodring Family, Integra Shocks, Broken Tooth Auto, Top Tier Outdoor Services, Big Earn Services, Air Pro HVAC, Garage Bar and Grill, Academy 231, Ruby Creek Tavern, Double Deuce Graphics, Auto Fix It Body Shop, Varney's Race Engines, Black Lotus Tavern, and my buddy Two Stripe Todd, the blue belt from Academy 231.
You know what I just learned was that with what he said, Zach. If I want to get my house done, get my car fixed, go tie one on, or eat some good food, I got to go to his sponsors' places.
And I would love to see you visit him. I will get you some good deals if you do go there.
Oh, don't threaten Rich with a good time.
Yeah, don't do that.
Mike, I appreciate it, man. Good luck this season. Looking forward to seeing it. Now, you're going to head up to Mount Pleasant then when they get going and see what they're made of on Friday night?
Yeah, last year I finally made it. That was my first time I raced in Mount Pleasant last year, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun track.
All right. I got to ask this because your fiance is responding, so it must be legitimate. Matt wants to know, and I got to know what the background is here. If you're going to have Marty French or Vandermark drive your car, why is he asking that?
Mike Vandermark and Marty are both good friends of mine. I would let Mike Vandermark drive it, of course. Marty scares me.
Marty seems to always take the heat when I see stuff on social media. He's always getting ribbed.
They're great guys. We met Mike and his wife Kylie, and me and my future wife become real good friends with them guys. And now their whole group, their pit guys, they're all awesome. I enjoy all them guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. They're a lot of fun to watch on social media. I know that much.
They're fun. They're a good group of guys. I mean, Crystal's kind of becoming like my Saturday home track now. I enjoy everybody there.
Cool. Now, are you going to hit up I-96 on Fridays as well?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I'll be there.
All right. Well, we'll see you somewhere along the line. I almost guarantee it with Great Lakes Sprints or with the other stuff we're doing. So good luck this season. Thanks for making time for us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk tires. I almost guarantee it. And we're going to talk sprint cars. We're going to talk with Max Stambaugh. Devon Dobie coming up straight ahead here on the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Think your camper handled the winter just fine? Think again. Every time the temperature fluctuates, drop moisture freezes and expands, turning tiny hairline cracks into major pathways for water. That freeze-thaw cycle is a silent killer for RV seals. If you haven't had a professional roof and exterior sealant inspection this spring, you're likely towing a leak you can't see yet. Midwest Camper Repair specializes in catching that winter damage before it reaches your interior. We're mobile and we check it all from the roof to the floor. Don't let a winter crack ruin your summer fun. Call Midwest Camper Repair today and start the season sealed tight. Call 419-799-1171. That's 419-799-1171. Or visit MidwestCamperRepair.com. Serving the tri-state area from the roof to the floor, Midwest Camper Repair has you covered.
This place completely fills up for the little 500 people from all over.
Here comes Jake Trader in number 29. How about that? He will be the bridesmaid no more. Bobby Santos is going to pick up the win.
Oh, trouble already. Wow. Trouble over at turn 4. 2 to go. Cody Swanson is there.
Here comes Roaring. Back-to-back champion. Tyler Roaring wins.
I guess tonight I was a sprint car guy.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
Welcome back to Horsepower Happenings. Literally had to tell everybody to shut up because we were coming back on the show. This is going to be a good one, as it always is. MadMax Moment presented by Williams Seal Coating, and it's our pleasure to welcome in. I said 5-time on Friday, which is kind of correct, but 4-time tour champion Max Stambaugh with Great Lakes Super Sprints. What's going on?
Rough weekend for me in Tennessee. So I figured I would bring somebody on the show that had a really good weekend in Tennessee.
All right.
Just another Monday. It looks like it's going to rain a little bit this week, and just keep on rocking.
All right. The weekend in Tennessee was very unique. USCS format, a unique tire mixture where we had the option to run the American Racer thanks to the Hoosier burnoff. 3 or 4 of our guys put on some American Racers. You and Kelsey and a lot of other guys elected to stay on Hoosiers. Max, just tell me about what you saw as a guy who, again, you already said you kind of struggled this weekend, but I don't think you said you don't think it's a tire thing. But what did you see kind of going back and watching the tape?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because our first couple weeks with GLSS, you're going to be able to have the option. The guy that we're going to interview tonight, he'll have his opinion. I talked to him Friday at the drivers meeting, and he was gung ho on I'm running him this weekend, and I'm going to start learning now. Where I guess I'm kind of on the other side of it, where I was like, I feel like I got a good spot on my medium stuff with Hoosiers. So it's interesting. It's a good take. It made for a little Facebook war yesterday with some guys down south. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, and I know they'll watch us, I think it should be a GLSS race anyways. I mean, I think like 16 of the cars are ours technically, right? So
14, yeah.
maybe in the future we'll be qualifying.
All right. 13.7 in hot laps just to prove his point on Saturday. Devon Dobie, winner on Saturday night. What's going on, man? Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Thanks, Max, for having me on here. Just excited to get the season started. Definitely a good boost there for us to get a win that early in the year. And the American Racers, we had those on all weekend. And Friday night, Max kind of alluded to it. We pill draw, start in the back. It's tough to pass. And Saturday night, just everything worked out a little better in our favor, and able to take advantage of the opportunities. So, excited. Hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling here for the first race back closer to home.
Yeah, I want to ask you about how you and your dad and your team decide what you're going to do in this unique 6-race burn-off period. How you decide if you're going to try to take advantage of what with the Hoosiers and win some races out of the gate, or build your notebook on the American Racers because you don't know what you don't know. How did you guys land on let's take I-75 and bolt on the new tires?
Yeah, I mean, especially after some of the shift in format and things like that, there really was no downside to trying it. We'd go down and try it out and see if we learn anything. First race that we've ran in 5-6 months, right? We had, all winter off and didn't get to travel down to Florida or do anything else. So, mainly just trying to knock the rust off and see what the tires did, how they responded, from the red clay down there in Tennessee. Obviously that's way different than anything we're going to be running on up around home. So I'm not sure how much of the notebook will really translate from that side of it, but just getting to understand, what the tire likes in terms of air pressure, grooving, siping, things like that. We just made the decision that we were going to go down there and run the AR tire. And, we plan to run a few other places throughout the year. The Hoosiers are still going to be the required brand. So it wasn't like we had a bunch of stock that we felt we needed to get rid of or anything like that. So we just made the decision to try it out. And I think it worked out for us.
Devon, I was able to watch both nights, and so I need you to settle an argument between Zach and I, right?
Whoa, we were arguing?
Well, we had a discussion, all right, before the show tonight. And obviously Howard was real fast on Friday night. He stood out. And for most of Saturday night, he looked pretty good too. I said if he doesn't hit traffic, you don't get him. Zach thinks you get him even if he doesn't hit traffic. What do you think?
Yeah, I told Dad, before we rolled out for the A, we came off from the dash, and he's got thousands more laps at that place, let alone just in general than I do, certainly. So I knew he was going to be tough to beat. Morgan and Chase and some of the other guys behind us as well. So I told Dad it was going to come down to traffic. In my opinion, I think that definitely played into our favor. It seemed like he got around me and we kept pace pretty well with him. I don't know that I would have got back by him the same way he got by me on that restart, a couple laps in. He was just able to keep his momentum up, got to my outside and then just kind of pinned me down on the tires and took the line away. So I don't know if I would have been able to return the favor. It wasn't like the track was set up to be able to throw a slide job really and try to, cross them over or do anything like that. In my mind, it was a racy track. It was slick. It cleaned off. But I think once everybody got going, the preferred line was around the bottom or maybe a little off. So I don't think I would have had as good of an opportunity to get back by him if we didn't hit traffic. But once we hit traffic, he really seemed to back up to me and missed the bottom, one lap in 3 and 4 and gave me an opening to get back by him. So yeah, I think I probably tend to agree with you, Rich. I think that definitely helped me, played into our favor.
And he almost went off a 2 the one time that he if he didn't get back on. I mean, you still got by him, but man, he had to pedal that thing to get back on the track.
Yeah, I mean, that's, with the way the track configuration is and the, there isn't much of a cushion to lean on. So it's wide. I mean, you can run the car in pretty deep, especially into 1 and 2. There was something in the top of 1 that you could kind of get in and lean on a little bit, but then it just ran you right off the backstretch off of 2. So you really had to kind of get the car slowed down and turned and keep it under you. And, I showed him my nose there, and I think he probably overdrove the corner a little bit too much. And kind of what happened when he got by me the first couple laps, I started driving too hard, trying to chase him back down and settled in and realized, it was a 30-lap race. Friday night was 25 laps. So we had a few extra laps to try to see if we could reel him back in, and we were able to.
So let's talk about the upcoming year. I think we've talked about coming out of the gates and, getting the job done like you did. You go to the Chili Bowl this year. What is the plan for, Devon Dobie Racing this year? Are we following the whole, GLSS deal? You bouncing around a little bit? I mean, I would say momentum's carrying a little bit. You go down to Tennessee, you bolt an American Racer on, you get Hard Charger on Friday, and then you pop up for the win on Saturday. And it's funny because me and you, we talk a lot at the track. We've been doing this a long time together, and I saw the old Double D smile there Saturday night. I'm like, oh boy, we might have our hands full here for a couple months.
Yeah, Max, I don't think I'd be crowning me with too much yet. I mean, you guys and Horseman and Daggett and all the guys that we run with every week are going to be tough to beat still, whether it's Thuja, American Racer. I don't think the tire is going to make that much difference for everybody. I mean, we're going to the same tracks and got to deal with the same things. So we got a long way to go to get to the level that you guys have been at the last several years. But I mean, definitely it doesn't hurt to build some momentum early on. I mean, this is by far the earliest in the year that we've knocked a feature win off. So I think our plan's pretty similar to where it's been the last, 2, 3, 4 years. Is we'll run all the Ohio or South races for sure with the GLSS. We'll run a handful of the Michigan races. We won't do all the tour stuff. We'll probably skip the Canada races and a few of the Michigan races and like to try to get out and do the 360 Nationals again one more time before I decide to hang this thing up full time. So the schedule works out this year that Eldora and Knoxville Nationals don't fall in the same weekend. So gives us an opportunity to try to do that. Hopefully, obviously that's a long way away. So a lot of things can change between now and then, but as long as the season goes pretty well, that's kind of our tentative plan is, right around probably 75% of the GLSS races. And then, few races here or there out west with Knoxville, and we've got some sponsors and friends that live out that way too. So that kind of gives us a good reason to get out there and race. And then we'll fill it in with a couple USAC shows when they're around here as well with the midgets. So
I'm just saying that was an intentional percentage of GLSS shows, and if you win another couple races, would you still fall off the Michigan stuff, or if you're in it, are you guys going to reconsider that?
It would really just see how the season starts to kind of.
You don't like to look
here.
at that, do you? You don't like to look into that, do you?
No, there's no reason to start getting into points race stuff. I mean, we really haven't even had a points race yet, right? So that to me, we've done it for long enough. That just adds pressure to the season, and quite frankly, all you got to do is just go out and worry about executing night in and night out, and the points kind of take care of itself. So we did it racing go-karts. I mean, Max, like he said, we've done this together for a long time. the points racing stuff really just it adds an extra layer of just within your team, even of kind of infighting, and it's not worth it to me. I mean,
No.
just me and my dad already get pissed off at each other enough every night as it is. So we'll see how it shakes out. I mean, we only have one 360 engine, right? So that kind of limits us to
That's
how
something to
many
consider
shows.
too, right? I mean, when you've got 34 shows, I think is what it is on the schedule. That's right at the limit, right?
Yeah, that's well beyond what we like to put on. I mean, we like to stay below 30 for sure. So and you're going to get rainouts. So I won't say never, but I think it really just depends how the season is going to shake out. And I know for sure I'm going to be missing, the Crystal race in April if that does happen to get in. Obviously we're battling some crazy weather right now in our areas. So but I've already had commitment before on that date. So just going to depend how it all shakes out. But I'm just excited to kind of get back on the track here. And we go to Montpelier this weekend, hopefully, if everything shakes out. We haven't been there, and I got my notebook out, and it's been almost 10 years, I think. So excited to get back there and get our Ohio tracks underway and the Michigan tracks as well that we plan on hitting, and just see how the season goes.
Devon, tell Zach that it's just too early in the year to start poking Max and friggin' Dustin and Jarrett. I mean, you don't need those guys any more up on the wheel than when you want to race them, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, these guys have been tough to beat the last couple of years, and especially Max. He's been consistent and winning championships, and Jared had a bounce back here last year. So we got a ways to go before we get to that level. Knocking off a win once already this year helps, but really in the big picture doesn't mean much. So yeah, we need to keep those guys on their toes a little bit and see if we can reel a couple more wins off before we start talking about competing with them for a full season.
I want to reverse that though. So that's your humble take on it, Devon, but Max from the other side of it, and you and I've talked about this when we've been on the phone, when they're chasing you, at some point they're going to catch you. You see Devon go out there and perform. Kobe Allison was fast this weekend. Kelsey Ivey career best this weekend. Obviously it's a different format and a different racetrack than what we'll see up here, like Devon mentioned, but I mean, and I'm not asking you this, and I don't think you'd say this just because Devon's here, but now you're watching these guys, right? You're paying attention to what they're doing now because they were fast all weekend.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a, it makes you come back to reality a little bit. You kind of get on the high side of it. You're rolling last year at the end of the year. You're building cars this winter, and you got a plan. It's I'm going to do exactly what I did last year. Now, I will say this, on the other side of it, I think 75 is kind of a unique deal. It's a little different. Like Devon said earlier, I'm not going to harp on it all night. The format's different and things just go different. I think, if the weather works out for Montpelier, for example, that's going to be a really cool race because none of our guys have really been there much. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes you go to Lima, we know Horseman's good, Devon's good, I'm good. You go to 96, Daggett's good. You know what I'm saying? This race Saturday for, technically the kickoff to GLSS in our area, I think Devon would agree is actually going to be a very good show. I think there's up and comers. Look at Jack Nichols. He cracked the top 5 this weekend. Dunham second. Like you said, Kelsey, Kelsey Ivey had a hell of a night, Friday. I'm watching from the infield after I finally called it. And, I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, if Kelsey wins this, we're burning this place down tonight, right? And
like I said, Kobe Allison wins a heat race. Yep. I mean, our guys were fast.
And Devon went out and, he's not giving himself enough credit. I'm behind him in the heat race, and he walked the dog on me and did exactly what he had to do to get under the 00 because he knew if he didn't go 3-1, his chance of hitting that dash from 3-2 is not good with the point structure that we don't know what is. So if Devon don't go 3-1, he's not in the dash. So I think Devon's not giving himself enough credit. I'm very happy for him and Mike. Mike was down there racing go-karts the whole week. So it was pretty cool deal to hear how they did it. And it was awesome. So Devon, you said something earlier about retirement already. I mean, I guess we're going to ask how many more years you think you got?
I haven't put a final date on it by any means yet. I mean, as long as we're still having fun, that kind of keeps it going. But full time, traveling like we do, and racing 25, 30, 35 times a year. It's probably a few more years. I mean, you know, not to say I'll be done completely after that, but you know, I'm 33 years old here next month. I've been doing it a long time. I've accomplished enough. You know, certainly you come into it with bigger aspirations. You know, when you're an 18-year-old kid jumping into a sprint car for the first time, you think you're going to go set the world on fire. And, you know, the sport humbles you real quick, like you said. But yeah, there's a few things I'd like to knock off the bucket list still if we get an opportunity. But you know, I'm happy with what we've been able to do and how long we've been able to do it. Not everybody has the opportunities to run sprint cars for, you know, that many years in a row and be fairly competitive. And so, you know, whenever it is time to call it quits, I'll be satisfied. You know, maybe not totally pleased with everything, but I got a few more years left in me to try to chase it down.
Hey, real quick, I want to say thank you to our segment sponsor, of course, Williams Seal Coating. Good weekend for them with the ASC S-Max. We were watching that on Saturday while they were at Attica, so good job by them. If you're having issues with your parking lot or driveway, holes, cracks, or just tired of putting back stones, call Williams Seal Coating and Paving. They'll improve the appearance of your business or home with seal coating and striping. Williams Seal Coating and Paving can handle commercial and residential projects, whether it's a new pave, milling, and repaving, seal coating, or crack filling. Call Williams Seal Coating and Paving. 517-748-0490, 517-748-0490 for Williams Seal Coating and Paving. Rich, you're eager tonight on this sprint car segment.
No, I want to get some questions answered by some of our listeners in the chat. And Devon, I'll throw this at you. Who builds your engines? This is one of our longtime listeners, Arnold. And how do you get the fuel in that thing?
Yeah, so we run Charlie Fisher and James Fisher racing engines. They were fortunate enough to take us on when we moved up from mini sprints. You know, we knew the late Tim Allison really well, just from my dad and his brother Roy, Kobe's dad, being, you know, friends back when they were kids and growing up racing together. And Tim kind of helped us get our foot in the door there. So we run Fisher racing engines. And so they've been a huge help to us. Like I said, we've only got one engine right now at this point. And so they kind of understand where we're at on, we need this thing to last 25, 30 races, right? We maybe don't need to set it on kill mode and go after all the new advancements and kind of let some other guys that have 4 or 5 engines or more, you know, out on the bigger tours, test those things out for them. So they understand where we're at, and they've been a huge help to us, keeping us on the track night in, night out since 2012 when we started.
And the other part of that question, which I'm not sure if it was for this interview or for the last one, but it is a unique talking point for sprint cars, is that for those that don't know, we're fuel injected with our series, which is pretty unique for dirt short track racing. And man, there's a lot of technology that goes into that, right, Devon, under the hood?
Yeah, you know, all the different jets and the fuel settings and everything are, you know, pretty complicated things to try to figure out on a nightly basis. And the you know, the engine builders give everybody kind of a sheet to go off of depending on where you're racing at, sea level wise. You know, we have a digital gauge that kind of reads out what the density is, and change all those settings each night, you know, multiple times throughout the night to kind of make sure you're getting that right fuel to air mixture and keep from burning them down or, you know, having them too rich, lean, whatever the case may be.
All right. I got one question from the chat too that kind of talks about what we were talking about. How did the new tire feel in comparison to what you'd been used to? And again, you talked about you'd had 4 or 5 months off from racing, so maybe it's hard to reach back into the memory bank and know what the Hoosiers did. But what was your take between the two tires with grip wise, or I know Max was worried about sidewall strength and side bite and things like that. Like, how did they perform in your opinion?
Yeah, Max and I talked about it a little bit again yesterday on the phone. Honestly, I didn't feel a ton of difference that I can say, you know, in the seat on how they reacted to the track. You know, we did have a pretty long green flag run there Saturday night. Once we got going, had a few early cautions, you know, so they had a few heat cycles on them. We actually ran the same 2 tires pretty much all weekend. We didn't change. So we had, for stagger purposes, we had a few Hoosiers left. We threw a left rear on to start the night on Friday. We changed to the American Racer left rear on Friday for the heat race, and we ran that same left rear and the same right rear in the heat race Friday, the A main Friday, and then all night Saturday night, the dash and everything. So,
and what would a timeline have been? And I'm asking because I really don't know, and I think listeners don't know. Like, how often would you have changed tires before?
Well, so I mean, I was talking with Dale Howard again yesterday as well, and he had to run the Hoosiers from their side, and he said they had his tires Friday night were junk. And I don't know, Max, you can chime in on what your guys' looked like. I know you kind of had to pull in there with some issues a few laps early, but Dale said that his tires were no good Friday night. They had to mount up some new tires for Saturday. So, and then from my past experience, I would say with the way the track was Friday night and Saturday both, I thought it started to take just a little bit of rubber. It wasn't completely rubber down, follow the leader, but pretty abrasive at the end of the night, both nights. And so usually the Hooters are to a point where they maybe still have a little life left in them, but you're probably not going to run them another 50 laps the next night, all night long. So I was pleased with the tire wear. We didn't do a lot of, grooving and siping and going all crazy with it. We kind of just did pretty standard stuff. Like I said, I didn't feel like from in the seat, I felt a huge difference, but maybe it didn't fall off as much. The tire compound, a lot of people thought the tire was a softer compound. From what we durometered on our stuff, it is a little harder than the Hoosier compound was. The sidewall, we thought was a little softer. So we did start on a little more air pressure, early on in the night. But all in all, really, we didn't change a whole lot from our notebook, the last couple of years that we had been down to I-75. And, we had some success there. We had Hard Charger once a couple years ago down there and ran decent and, other shows. So, I didn't notice too much. I can't say we did a whole lot really different either. So I'm really excited, like Max said, to get to Montpelier and I-96, some of these tracks that we're more familiar with, and get more guys running them and start to see if you get more feedback from other guys too.
Devon, Scott was also asking, I think we touched on the burn off that you guys have in GLSS coming up over the next several weeks, but Scott's asking, when do you guys make the decision that you're going to go down there and that you're going to run the ARs? Do you take a set of each and kind of see how it's going, or are you guys committed before you load that thing in the trailer what you're running?
Yeah, so we had some Hoosiers still in the trailer, just left over from last year, mounted up, and kind of just took a few Hoosiers off, and we only had we had 3 American Racer left rears, so we mounted those 3 up, and we didn't quite have all the stagger options that we thought we might want or need. So that's why I said we ended up starting off with the Hoosier left rear on Friday night. But once we got to a point where we had a stagger option in the American Racer tire, that was kind of, that was the direction we wanted to go. And so that's kind of where we left it, was unless we need something different for stagger options, we're just going to run the American Racer the whole time.
Yeah, Devon, it's cool to look back. Like I said, a good weekend for you in Tennessee. You're coming back. You're going to run around here. Bucket list win before, them days come up. What's the track you got to get one at?
Well, I'll give 2. I'll give a track and I'll give a race. And you've been fortunate enough to win the race. And it's the Run for the Rabbit. That one's pretty special. Travis and my dad were really good friends. Travis was actually in my dad's wedding way back in the day. So, Travis lost his life way too early. And that would be awesome, more for my dad, honestly, than me, to be able to knock that one off the bucket list. And then, Eldora, right? That's around here. That's the cream of the crop. That's the track that everybody, dreams of winning at and going racing at and watching. So, if we could be fortunate enough to knock one or both of those off the list, I definitely think that would be, feather in the cap.
All right. Before we let you go, the classic rundown, who made it possible for you to get to victory lane on Saturday?
Yeah, well, just start with the guys that were able to go down with us, right? That's half the battle with, having a busy summer and trying to race as much as we do or as we can. And, finding guys that are able to take off on a Friday afternoon and go racing. So my dad and my buddy Josh have been helping me out, for quite some time now.
Josh is your tire guy, right?
Yeah, we kind of make him do all the grunt work. So, he's we're pretty hard on him, but he takes it like a champ, and he knows we're just messing with him. So he's been helping us out for several years now. And then my father-in-law was actually able to go down with us this weekend as well. So that was kind of cool. Sponsor wise, we've got a lot of guys that have helped us out for many years and keep us going to the track. We've got 3G Customs, D&M Fencing, Brown's Heating and Cooling, Astro Lanes down in Walpock where I live at. Simpson Race Products has been a longtime supporter of what we do. Ferris Mowers as well. So there's a ton of friends and family that have been along for the ride for many years now, and very fortunate that we're able to keep doing it.
Heiser, you got to put something in the record books now on the GLSS stuff.
All right, tell me.
You got to go back to this is horsepower, but you got to talk GLSS tonight. Devon Dobie wins the first race on an American Racer, 2026.
That's true. That's true.
That's a big deal because 15 years from now, when me and him are retired at the Royal, we're going to talk about that night.
Well, my last thing for you, Devon, was going to be, what does this do for you now as we head to Montpelier? You've been so humble throughout this whole interview, and that's who you are, but is there a little confidence going in?
I mean, yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say it felt good, right? It made the 6.5 hour drive home go by a lot nicer than it does when you max.
When you're max Stambaugh.
When
you're max
I'm sure that wasn't the most pleasant ride home, and you guys had a couple extra hours than what we had, but no, it definitely helps the ride home, and it does build confidence for sure for the rest of the year. But yeah, like I said, until we start knocking off, top fives, top threes, maybe another win or two, you have to stay humble, because if you think you've got it figured out, the sport and these guys that we race with every week will remind you very quickly you don't have it figured out, and you got to go back to the drawing board. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I like Montpelier. Like I said, I haven't been there in a long time, but we've had some success there. So it does build confidence, and hopefully we can just keep building on it and actually give these guys a run for their money this year.
All right, Devon, appreciate making time. Max, thank you as well. We'll see you guys on Saturday. All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we wrap it up. You're listening to the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. MarkNews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
This place completely fills up for the little 500 people from all over.
Here comes Jake Trader at number 29. How about that? He will be the bridesmaid no more. Bobby Santos is going to pick up the win.
Oh, trouble already. Wow. Trouble over at turn 4. 2 to go. Cody Swanson is there.
Here goes Rory. Back-to-back champion. Tyler Rourke wins.
I guess tonight I was a sprint car guy.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Think your camper handled the winter just fine? Think again. Every time the temperature fluctuates, trap moisture freezes and expands, turning tiny hairline cracks into major pathways for water. That freeze-thaw cycle is a silent killer for RV seals. If you haven't had a professional roof and exterior sealant inspection this spring, you're likely towing a leak you can't see yet. Midwest Camper Repair specializes in catching that winter damage before it reaches your interior. We're mobile and we check it all from the roof to the floor. Don't let a winter crack ruin your summer fun. Call Midwest Camper Repair today and start the season sealed tight. Call 419-799-1171. That's 419-799-1171. Or visit MidwestCamperRepair.com. Serving the tri-state area from the roof to the floor, Midwest Camper Repair has you covered.
Welcome back to Horsepower Happenings. Believe it or not, there was a little chit-chat going on after we got done with that, but glad to be back. Thanks for sticking around. We need like a subscription-based thing where you can hear the in-between conversations.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
That's why it'd have to be exclusive, right? Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Hey, thank you to Devon. Thank you to Max. Thanks to Michael for being on the show as well. Rich, we have a solid upcoming calendar of events for this weekend, my friend.
We're going to get on some pavement now, right? We're going to do that. M40 got on, but we're going to get some pavement. This Friday, Kalamazoo Speedway, the Intimidator 100. Pit gates open at 2:30. Racing at 7:30 p.m. sharp on
That's
Friday
what they
night.
say. Yep, sharp. I don't know how sharp. Spoon, knife, steak knife. We don't know. 7:30 p.m. sharp. And then this one, you're guaranteed to be at, Rich. Tell me about what's going on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, Toledo Speedway season opener, and what a way to open the season with the rebranded Turn 1 CRA Pro Series, the House of Meats 100 for the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series.
You better start practicing that.
Pro late models. I know, I'm going to be saying it 100 times on Saturday. Also in action, the 350 Outlaw Super Modifieds are going to be at Toledo Speedway for 30 laps. Then the Late Model Sportsman, 25 laps, Factory Stock, 25 laps. Now, it's an early show, so practice starts at 10:15 a.m. on Saturday, qualifying at noon. There's going to be an on-track autograph session at 1:45, and then the green flag for the House of Meats 100 Zach rolls off at 3 o'clock.
All right, tickets available online, ToledoSpeedway.com, or at the gate on race day. Great Lakes Super Sprints in action on Saturday across the state line over in Indiana, Montpelier Speedway. Pits open at 3 o'clock. General admission gates will swing at 4, and the green flag on racing action set to begin at 7 p.m. $20 will get you through the gate, and advance tickets are available online. Just go to Montpelier Speedway by the Milkman on Facebook to find out more information, because I lost their website somewhere across in the time of the show. I lost it. I had it, but it's gone. And as we just talked about, there's a lot of anticipation for that show at Montpelier, so I hope we can get it in.
I'm just happy that we have a lot of racing stuff on the script these days.
We're finally to the point where we've got to okay, which winner are we going to have on the show, right? Before it was okay, which story haven't we told yet? And now we've made it. We say this every year.
We are back in the nice problem to have part of the season.
That's right. So good luck to everybody who's going to the races. It's great to finally be able to say we don't care where you go. If you see us, Rich and I will both be at a racetrack this weekend. If you see us, say hello. Let us know you listen to the show. And who knows? Rich might even buy you a Diet Pepsi. And
Whoa.
And we'll talk to you same time, same place next week, right here on Horsepower Happenings.
You've been listening to Horsepower Happenings. The views and opinions expressed in tonight's show may not directly reflect that of Horsepower Happenings. The contents of this program may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or disseminated without the express written consent of Horsepower Happenings. Follow Horsepower Happenings on Facebook, Instagram, X, and all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, and Pandora, to keep up on what's happening.